Hi everybody. Today's episode 1586 features video snippets from Benny Johnson, 4D Chess, also from Doug in Exile, Matt Gaetz. Plus from On the Fringe, Trap, and wrapping up with Awaken with JP, Pride Month. Highlights begin today, June 7, 2025, at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Don't miss this great lineup.
Help keep free speech alive. Please join Murtech on Locals, Truth Social, and on X.
From Benny Johnson, proof: the Elon versus Trump fight was all fake. Staged to get Dems to demand Epstein files 4D chess.
From Doug in Exile, Matt Gaetz makes prediction on Mike Johnson, they're cutting spending in the bill.
From On the Fringe, Dems fall into the trap again.
And from Awaken with JP, Russia and Ukraine attacks disrespect Pride Month.
Don't miss this great live stream with Murtech on Rumble tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. The link is in the description box below. Thank you for all your support and may God bless. Oh, by the way, don't forget to follow me and click the thumbs up button. Thanks again.
Hi everybody, this is John Murphy at Murtech.com with your daily news update. Okay, here we are on June the 7th in the year of our Lord 2025. Got a lot of great information for you. Let me go ahead and click over here at Murtech on Rumble. This is the video you're looking at right now. Let's go ahead and get into this, my episode 1586. Alrighty. This is the video you're looking at right now. Let's go ahead and get into this, my episode 1586. All right. I'm not sure what that's all about. Right now, let's go ahead and get into this, my episode 1586. All right. Okay. I'm not sure what that's all about. Right now, let's go ahead and get into this, my episode 1586. Let me close this. Okay. Let's try this. Let's try this again, okay? I'm on Rumble Studio, so sometimes it acts just a little bit weird. All right, here we go. Okay, this is the video you're looking at. Let's try this again. All right, let me pause this. And hi, Debbie BS. Glad you joined me. Having a little glitch here. All right, let's slide down here and open up the description box. And we have information from Benny Johnson and Doug in Exile, On the Fringe, and Awaken with JP. But before we get into tonight's program, let's slide down here and give a shout out to Beulah Bellaloo. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Just started following my channel. Fisher's 45, Fisher C45 reposted my video, so thank you very much. I appreciate that, getting the word out. Killface and imprint his, commented on my episode 1584. Debrant, Aline Ann, and Debbie BS commented on my episode 1585. So thank you very much for your comments and reposting my video and following my channel. I appreciate that very much. Let me go ahead and give this a thumbs up. Boom. There we go. That's how easy it is. Okay. And speaking of comments, Killface, let's go ahead and take a look at his comment. Good information. Thanks as always. Well, thank you, Killface, for your right here. Good information. Thanks as always. Thank you, Killface. I appreciate that. Okay, let's come back here and let's get started on this. Okay, we've got information here from Benny Johnson. Proof: the Elon versus Trump fight was all fake, staged to get Dems to demand Epstein files 4D chess. I don't know. There's all kinds of theories out there. Let's see what Benny Johnson has to say.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. guys? Spenny, what is the single most entertaining thing President Trump has ever done on stage? Well, I would argue that not only the most entertaining, but most important thing President Trump has ever done was his answer in his first presidential debate way back in 2015, live on Fox News from Cleveland, Ohio. A President Trump who at that time everybody thought was a hoax.
Okay, I'm going to pause this right here because you saw me give a thumbs up there. Sometimes I have problems with the audio on these videos that I share within Rumble. And if there's a time lag, and when I put my thumbs up was when I actually started hearing the video. And you could tell the lag between the time the video started and I put my thumbs up. That's how long it takes me to actually realize where the audio has not played or whether it is playing. I can hear it in my headphones, but sometimes the audio doesn't play after I start the video, and it takes a period of time for me to actually realize that so that I can make an adjustment. So I'll do that on these videos. When I realize the audio is actually playing, I'll give a thumbs up, just to give you an idea of how long the lag is between the time I start the video and it actually gets broadcast out for you to view. So sorry about the interruption here. Let me just go ahead and back this up. That's a wrap, folks.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
What's up, guys? Spenny, what is the single most entertaining thing President Trump has ever done on stage? Well, I would argue that not only the most entertaining, but most important thing President Trump has ever done was his answer in his first presidential debate way back in 2015, live on Fox News from Cleveland, Ohio. A President Trump who at that time everybody thought was a hoax. Everybody thought that Donald Trump was just hoaxing the presidential process, that he wasn't actually running for president. You have to rewind the clock back and look at the headlines, and you can see that everybody was speculating that all of this was just a money grift for Donald Trump. And so with an arena of people watching, where the Cleveland Cavaliers play actually was where this debate was, it's like 30,000 people there. President Trump said this in his first debate answer ever and shattered the political world as we know.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
Look at the crowd howling.
Thank you.
For the record.
Look at the crowd howling. And you know what? It's amazing. That not only does that set the tone, but it also proves that you're not going to be able to get one over on Donald Trump. You're not going to be able to win this argument. He has the crowd on his side. It might be your network. You might be the famous anchor, but you are going down. And I know how to turn everyone against you. And that's how you win a debate like that. I was in the crowd actually that night. I don't remember listening. I was front row in a little reporter box, and the place was just uproarious. The Cleveland Cavaliers winning the NBA championship wasn't louder than that question. And what's the point? The point is that this might have been fake. And what do I mean by that? Well, I don't think that the answers, I have no evidence that the answers were given to Trump and that, that anything was staged. The answer was authentic. Obviously, the reaction was authentic. Megyn Kelly was pissed. And the two of them fought really savagely afterwards. Donald Trump and Megyn Kelly then had a big, fat, public spat, right? Where they were savaging each other. But there's something quite remarkable that has resurfaced in the light of President Trump and Elon Musk's fight, which is this clip of Megyn Kelly a decade later sitting and chatting about, well, what actually happened there. Megyn Kelly talks about what was happening behind the scenes during their very public rage fest fight, kaiju level smackdown with Donald Trump. Listen.
It was really crazy, so crazy, Sean, because I walked out, we agreed, like, we're good. And the last thing he said to me before I walked out of Trump Tower was, Megyn, it's not such a good thing if they're not talking about us. And I was like, oh my God, was this whole thing for show? Like, was he acting the whole time?
Wow.
To generate buzz?
Well, I mean, listen to this. Generate buzz, he did. This is the first question.
Your Twitter account.
Right? This is the most famous Republican debate answer in history, right here. And is there a strategy to this? This is what's leading to many people saying, wait a second, there might be something up with this whole Elon Musk, Donald Trump spat. Elon Musk just left the White House. He and Donald Trump might have some differing views on things, but boy, did it descend into absolute madness. Did it ever get people's attention? You know, Elon Musk accused Trump of being on the Epstein list and saying he should be impeached, and that he's going to cancel his SpaceX rockets to the American military and for the use for astronauts. Very fascinating rage fest yesterday. And Donald Trump, for his part, jabbed at Elon Musk, calling him crazy and all that. And after seeing all that, seeing it in the way that President Trump sort of plays the field and the way that Donald Trump has learned to keep his name in the headlines. It's not good if they're not talking about us, he says to Megyn Kelly. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Hey, it's good for us to be in the headlines. It's good for them to be talking about us. The drama keeps people interested, keeps us relevant. Is that what's going on with Elon? Did they just pick like a down news cycle and cool all the investigations, that may be brewing about Elon, his business, Trump, his business, by staging a very public falling out? I don't know. I don't have the evidence of that. But I do have those Megyn Kelly clips that gives you insight into how President Trump views these feuds. He views them as a way for people to pay attention. And not many people were actually paying attention to this big, beautiful bill, to President Trump's bill. And actually, a lot of people weren't paying attention to the Epstein files either. Elon Musk has since, of course, apologized, right? And said, hey, listen, we should make up. He's deleted his tweets, right? He says, you're not wrong. Elon Musk has gone back and said, okay, I'm not gonna stop my rocket company. And, I'm sorry. He's deleted a bunch of tweets, right, that he sent yesterday. Headlines like this: Elon Musk backs down, Trump battle, Tesla stock nosedive. I'm not saying I have evidence of it being fake. The two are seemingly at a men's now, right? Trump White House aides signal possible detente with Elon Musk. Elon Musk retweeting stuff like this, that both Elon and Trump's stance are principled and practical. Tech needs Republicans for the present, and Republicans need tech for the future. Drop the tax cuts, cut support, get the bill through. Elon Musk is retweeting this, actually. Saying, yeah, totally, actually. And, we should all just get along. But something amazing happened when Elon Musk said that Donald Trump's on the Epstein list, which he said yesterday. And there's no evidence of that. And we've covered this extensively. But the answer is there's zero evidence of that. It's the opposite is actually true. That Donald Trump's the man who helped put Epstein behind bars. That's a matter of fact. That the Democrats started to post, kill the bill and release the Epstein files. Huh? Wait, what? Now you got libs posting, release the Epstein files? Democrat, Eric Swalwell is up posting that. Hillary Clinton's like, no. What is Trump hiding? Release the Epstein files. This is from the official Democrats of town. It's got 2.3 million followers. What? This is why people are saying, is anyone think the Trump-Elon feud is staged? Is it just me? It's absolutely staged, says random verified user. Now that Elon and Trump said Trump's in the Epstein files, Democrats will be demanding that they get released. Checkmate. Well, look what happened. Democrats, release the Epstein files. What? That's crazy. This is crazy. Democrats are now requesting the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. This could be the greatest 5D chess of all time. Was it all fake? Alex Jones went off on an 18-minute rant here, saying that this historic fight may be staged and part of a secret agenda. Staged. Elon says Trump is in the Epstein files. Democrats demand the Epstein files be released. The files are released. Trump is not in them. Exposes all the vetoes. Checkmate. That's what everyone says. Crazy. You have to see the genius at play here. Elon Musk and President Trump stage a massive public fallout, sling insults, and grab a bunch of headlines, which they have, of course. There's number one trend on Earth. It's grabbing all the oxygen. The media eat it up, focusing on the clash. Then, boom, Elon drops the Epstein bombshell, claiming Trump's in the files. Suddenly, all the eyes shift to Epstein. The media is buzzing about the sealed documents. Perfect timing for Cash Patel to expose the files. Sun Tzu-level strategy, misdirection, striking at the heart of the narrative. Trump and Musk are playing 4D chess, orchestrating the greatest reverse psyop ever. Nothing can stop what's coming.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause that here. He goes on and on with more examples, but could very well be. I don't know. It seems awfully strange how quickly Elon turned on Donald Trump in this bill, and how quickly then he turned back and said, no, let's go ahead and get the bill passed because tech needs the Republicans need tech. Amazing, amazing. Okay, as you can see here, this video does come from Benny Johnson. I'm subscribed to his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Let's go ahead and get back here to the video description. And Doug in Exile. Matt Gaetz makes prediction on Mike Johnson. They're cutting spending in the bill. I've heard that numerous times, that they're cutting spending in the bill. Let's get over here and see what Doug in Exile says. And I'll give you a thumbs up as soon as I know for sure that we have video. So, but you'll know it as soon as I know it.
Welcome to An Exile. We're going to give you the update on the big, beautiful bill. I've got a whole lot of updates on that. The biggest thing to remember is that it destroys illegal immigrants from coming over here, enables Trump to deport them. That's the biggest part of the bill. It is the biggest part of fulfilling what this last election was about. Here's Matt Gaetz on the big, beautiful bill. He's talking with how it will be able to be changed in the Senate to better address some of Elon Musk and Rand Paul's fiscal concerns that we might be able to increase some of the spending cuts.
Do you think that there is progress being made in the Senate to get the votes to pass this bill, or are you anticipating that the Senate will make some revision and send it back to the House?
Well, I would say that, from the House perspective, or at least my perspective, it's big. It's not quite beautiful yet. And so maybe this is the opportunity. With Elon coming out criticizing the bill, maybe we'll see some of the senators make some changes, make some additional cuts, and then likely it'll pass, and then it comes back to us. Now, that'll put a few of my House colleagues in a box, but at the end of the day, that's what we promised the American people. And, right now, there doesn't seem to be quite a consensus forming in the Senate as what the direction is going to be. So I think it's kind of, what I'll say is Elon, I think, reset the conversation with his most recent tweets, for better or worse. But again, I think the Mike Lees and some of the more conservative senators, that emboldens them to try to get more, again, make it truly big and beautiful, not just big. Because right now it's rather large. But I think there's the opportunity for them to improve the bill, to make some additional cuts. You'll see some of those more conservative senators come online, and of course the House votes on it. But like you said, I don't know that the votes are there if it were to be voted on today.
This is very interesting to me because it shows Elon's influence on the big, beautiful bill. It strengthened the case against it, whether if we agree with it or not. He influenced history, and it put a little more strength behind the fiscal conservatives that want to go in and increase the cuts. So we're going to talk about the fallout and influence of how a few tweets from Elon Musk affected our country's history. And right now, I just want to check on where is the majority in the Senate going. He says it's wide open, Ogles. He said it's wide open now, so it's in flux. It's moving right now, and we haven't seen where a majority is congealing. I'm going to go into a lot of this, but here's Laura Ingraham warning about the dangerous people that are here.
The serious fact about this is this individual acted out of a complete animus toward a certain group of people based on an ideological viewpoint, which obviously qualifies as a hate crime under U.S. federal law. And now we're going to probably learn more about how he got to that point, whether he came to this country with those views as a tourist during the Biden era, or whether these views were intensified during his time here. The other outstanding question is why he was given a work permit when he was here on an expired visa. Because
work permit. They're getting rights. And what can you do about it? They're a massive drain on our whole economy. This is Jack Posobiec on the big, beautiful bill saying how the number one thing to keep track of is when you take illegal aliens off of our Medicare, welfare, education program, we're going to save hundreds of billions of dollars.
This should be called, and rightfully should be called, the big, beautiful deportation bill, because that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. This is about getting the tools, the resources, and the capabilities to those in power throughout DHS and other elements of the federal government to be able to conduct the mass deportations that won at the ballot box in 2024. And so
this is my...
Okay, I'm going to jump in here too. I mean, think about it, folks. These people come in here illegally into this country. What is the difference between that and somebody just flying in from Italy, England, Canada, Mexico, coming in here and going to a hospital and say, okay, I need surgery, and getting Medicare to cover that? What is the difference? Because the people that fly in here from Italy, England, Canada, Mexico, at least they have a visa and a passport to come into this country. These other people don't even have that. But the people from Italy and England flying in here saying, okay, I need free surgery. That doesn't happen. So why should people that have come across the border illegally, without any background checks, without a visa, without a passport, why are they entitled for free Medicare, Social Security, a free debit card with money paid into it every month, a place to live for free, food stamps for free? Why should they get such benefits when American citizens that have lost their job or down on their luck don't get that? How does that make sense? How does that make logical sense?
My argument against Rand Paul. Trump did not win the election based on reducing the debt. So they can talk about raising the debt. They can talk about Trump was against all this fiscal stuff during the Obama years, which Elon reminded us of those tweets yesterday. He and Mike Johnson were against raising the debt. They were against big expenditures. But that's not what Trump ran on. He ran on closing the border and deport illegals. So just the big, beautiful bill alone. That's why Trump really needs a win on this, and I'm rooting for a win. I do hope we're going to go into more about them able to, in the Senate, being able to cut more spending, and then they send it back to the House to get it signed, and that might get more Republicans on board. Here's the rest of Jack Posobiec.
I understand, though, that there are some folks who say, well, wait a minute. What about the debt? What about entitlement programs? When are we going to get some work done on that? And let me walk you through this a little bit, okay? It's a tweet that I posted earlier today because I said, I don't think you're thinking of these mass deportations, a series of tweets that I was posting earlier today, thinking of them in the proper way. And I want to get your mind right on this. What's going on is you are thinking that deporting people isn't related to our federal debt and entitlement crisis because you're only looking at the supply side of the equation. But if you reduce the demand side of the equation, you can reduce the overall expenditures. Mass deportations means fiscal responsibility. And few seem to understand this because if you reduce the amount of people on the entitlement programs, you will reduce the spending on the entitlement programs and further reduce the debt. And I can go through stats. I can go through all day long. The reporting out of FAIR, the reporting even back in 2017. Even back in 2017, FAIR was putting out reports saying that illegal aliens, illegal immigration cost Americans cost on net $116 billion a year. And remember,
that's 2017. Imagine after 11 million more, we've doubled under Biden the number of illegals that could be here.
That's indirect and direct costs through entitlement and welfare programs. What do I mean by that? Well, the children of illegal aliens, guess what? They're eligible for entitlement programs. They're eligible for SNAP. They're eligible for education. They're eligible for health care in many cases. So they get all of those things. And then the parents are eligible through, they're not eligible, but the parents do access these programs through a variety of means, including, fraud. In variety of means, including going and getting a driver's license in places where you're able to get one.
You can get them in California, and the parents do qualify in California. Jack Posobiec brings up very real costs that, remember, he was only quoting 2017 numbers. If it's 150 billion, between 150 and 200 billion back then, that's just what we know of. You double that now, at least, because Biden, like that first story with Laura Ingraham, they were handing out work visas to basically terrorists. So that it shows how expansive they were handing these work visas out to kind of anchor them into our economy. And so just think of that cost. You're talking about, let's double it from 180 billion. I would go up to about 500 billion. That's $500 billion a year that Trump is trying to save. This bill instantly reverses that. So now you can start to see fiscally, he's talking about reducing the supply side, which helps your economy. Now, who's fighting this? This one is very interesting from Mike Davis, who's one of my favorite Constitution guys on John Roberts. Chief Justice John Roberts is allowing these activist judges to endanger the lives of federal law enforcement agents. This is shameful cowardice and a dereliction of duty by Chief Justice of the United States. What's he talking about? This news item: ICE officers stranded in Djibouti under outrageous conditions after court blocked criminal migrant deportations. How are they blocking it? The ICE officers have to stay with these criminals in Djibouti, and they're not allowing them to remain deported. So they're having to sit there with them. They were trapped on an airplane with them for a while. The judge orders in the DVD case are literally putting ICE agents' lives in danger. He grounded a removal flight in South Sudan that was already over East Africa. And now 3 ICE agents are marooned in Djibouti with 8 criminal migrants under outrageous living conditions and the threat of rocket attacks from Yemen. The illegal aliens these ICE agents are charged with securing, in the meantime, have been convicted of murder, assaulting minors, robbery, and arson. Justice Roberts, in not going in and undermining these activist judges, that's what he has to do, is putting pressure on the Supreme Court to take up this idea that these judges, 600 Democrat federal judges, are trying to act bigger than the president. Meanwhile, what's Trump doing this morning? He's back on message. The failing New York Times and the Washington Compost, 2 papers that have ruthlessly fought me for years, have each done polls where a vast majority of those sampled are Democrats. In other words, the polls, just like their writings, are rigged. It's not possible for a Republican to do well in such a poll. They're corrupt as hell. The real polls out there have me doing better than ever before, just like Election Day 2024, where I won 7 of the 7 swing states, the popular vote, and districts by 2,700 to 505. I won the election in a landslide. The fake news media is failing our nation at levels never seen before. Make America great again. That's how Trump is dealing with the fallout over Elon last night. Now,
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pause this here and show you that this video does come from Doug in Exile. I'm subscribed to his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, coming down here, the link to this video is in the description box, so if you want to watch the rest of this, by all means, do so. Let's jump over here to on the Fringe. Dems fall into the trap again. Okay, and we'll play you the introduction, then he's got a lot of advertisements and some other stuff, and we're going to skip up here to like the 12-minute and 37-second mark. So let's go ahead and get this started.
I don't know. It's interesting. Like, I'm not really...
Let me get it back here to the beginning.
On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. This is obviously a psyop. I think most of us on our side of the fence understand that. Maybe a few of us don't, but for the most part, I think we understand it. But what's funny is the left is losing it. The left is just running after this. The left has even fallen for a major part of the trap. This was well planned. There's unquestionable a number of things that are positive about these two appearing to not be close. And I think we're gonna talk a little bit about that. Not spend a huge amount of time on it, but certainly got some stuff to talk about. Got a great music show that's going to be coming up here in a little while, a few hours. Okay,
let's move this up here to about the 12-minute mark. There we go.
Style.healthyhome.com. Healthy decisions, healthy lifestyle, healthy just in general. All right, PSYOP. PSYOP 101. This is definitely a PSYOP, just unquestionable. So we're going to start with the funny. Babylon B put this out. Judge determines Trump will get the nation on weekdays while Musk gets every other weekend and holidays. So at least we've got a fair breakup of how this is going to work out. Daddy and daddy. This is funny. So again, a lot of people are trying to say Trump was compromised by Epstein. This is one of the things that Musk brought up. Now, my understanding of it, and this has been brought up before, this is not the first time, and if Musk was going here, it might have been on purpose. Wouldn't surprise me. And what it's accomplished, I'll show you in a short bit here, but if Musk did this on purpose because he knew it would get the left to glom on this and push to get the Epstein list released. So he says, look, Trump's been on Epstein's plane, or I forget exactly how he said it, but basically accusing Trump of somehow being on Epstein. He didn't say the island specifically. And what we understand is Trump did get on Epstein's airplane many years back, and they flew up to, I want to say it was New York or someplace close to there anyways, from Florida. And that was the only time Trump had ever been on the plane. And then outside of that, he kicked him out of one of the golf resorts that he had because of the pedophilia issue, or the issue that was happening with one of the guests or whatever. There was something very specific. So Trump separated himself from Epstein a long time ago. So this, again, is part of the PSYOP. One, Musk needs to back away from Trump because it's hurting his businesses. Right? He used to be the favored person. Now everybody hates him. He's having people firebomb his Tesla dealerships. That's not okay. Right? So if Trump was truly involved with Epstein, let's try to take this in steps here. Don't want to get ahead of myself. But if Trump was truly involved with Epstein, I don't think any of this type of stuff would happen. And this little piece that was put out was kind of helpful in that regard.
Bill Clinton. Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
Epstein, in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool. So,
the Clintons are friends
and he's
of
been
yours,
there
right?
for many times.
The Clintons are friends.
Well, I can't say friends, but I know
You're friendly. You know them.
They play at my clubs a lot. I have clubs, and everybody likes to play at my clubs.
Are you saying there's a political problem for her if she runs for president?
It could be a political problem. Look, he could be a political problem. Right now, he's Teflon, and right now, maybe not. But he could end up being a political problem.
So again, he's made lots of comments about this. I think there's more to it than what meets the eye. Trump says Musk has lost his mind, right? This was said on ABC News. So these two went back and forth, slamming each other. I think Trump was even posting some of this crap in X, or on X, right? Formerly known as Twitter. I freaking hate when they do that by now, right? It's been forever, right? If you don't know it's X by now, you don't know what it used to be. Still got the stupid logo, doesn't it? No, it's got the X logo now, and they got rid of the bird thing for the most part. All said, yeah, crazy. Back and forth, right? Trump is this, Musk is that. Now, one of the things that a lot of people are talking about is a big, beautiful bill in regards to this. And this is kind of the thing that they're supposedly fighting over. This is the big problem, right? That they're fighting over this budget. He's pissed off that there's no cuts in there, and that can't happen. So why Musk's spending cuts never could have been in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. As in Thursday's post, I noted that the One Big Beautiful Bill Act is traveling under the Senate's budget reconciliation rules, which means it can extend the 2017 tax cuts and fund the border wall, ICE, build out with 51 votes, but it can't touch most discretionary spending. Can't. That's actually considered a different kind of thing. But they can go in a separate rescission bill. The spending cuts Elon Musk wants, mainly clawback of unobliged COVID IRA money and other Doge findings, belong in a rescission bill that moves under the 1974 Impoundment Control Act. The good news is that vehicle also needs only 51 votes because debate is capped at 10 hours and isn't subject to a filibuster. The only pieces that still faces a 60-vote Senate cloture hurdle are new authorizing or appropriations titles. Think like space launch bonuses, Starlink rural broadband contracts, or permitting reform riders. Like anything that would be a benefit to Musk directly would definitely have to go through that 60-vote Senate cloture hurdle. So they could, hopefully, once this big, beautiful bill gets pushed through, however that manages to be, they could start working on that separate rescission bill, and that would be extraordinary. So that is something that's possibly could happen. But just directly having that in the original federal act, it wouldn't really work. It wouldn't really work in this particular case. It doesn't belong there, and it would become a problem, essentially. Musk hints at a path forward on the big, beautiful bill. Trump team schedules a Friday call, but that Friday call supposedly is not happening. Now, this is interesting because, again, the optics are really important on this whole thing. Musk standing up for MAGA ideals that Trump campaigned on, and Trump peddling a bill that came from the swamp. So depending on who you believe, we note that it also makes little to no effort to actually do anything about the waste, fraud, or abuse found in Doge. Now, that's, again, and this is funny because the same source did both of these stories, and this one came chronologically after this one. But obviously in this story over here, they understand that none of the Doge cuts could have been in this. That wasn't supposed to be where they were at. Yet they're trying to make that the deal, right? They're trying to make it seem like that might be it. Now, again, it makes more sense that he's pissed off about the fact that they took away the EV mandate thing, or the tax break for that. Trump says he has no plans to call Musk. They're done. They're pissed. They're done. They're not talking to each other. They're going to obviously try to make good. One of the key things that happened with all this is Musk's stocks got hammered. Tesla got just annihilated, and so did Twitter, or X. X went down a bunch too. So this didn't work out well, having these two guys hate each other. Again, the separation needed to happen because the people on the left, now they don't know what the hell to do. It's been good for Musk's business, and also likely any future endeavors and contracts he gets with the government. It's better if they look like they're not buddy-buddy, because then that's just going to look horrible too. Trump seeks to move on from this nasty Musk feud. They're just like, hey, look, we're going to turn the page, right? Good song. I'm going to turn the page. Let Bob Seger sing it for you. He says, no, I'm not going to be speaking to him for a while, but I wish him well, right? No harsh words. They used to be best buddies. They used to have a bromance, for that matter. And it's strange still, right? This was put out by this Dmitry Rogozin. Says, Elon, don't be upset. Let's see. If you encounter this was the Russian thing. This was funny as hell. The Russians are basically saying, look, if you encounter insurmountable problems in the U.S., come to us. Here you will find reliable comrades and complete freedom of technical creativity. He's essentially saying Moscow will let you move to Russia if that's what you want to do. And you can bring SpaceX with you, they say. Of course, that would be, not borderline hilarious. That would actually be catastrophic if that actually happened. But it is hilarious that they're saying that. Now, for some weird reason, I don't know why Dershowitz is doing this, but Dershowitz has been to Epstein Island. There's a picture of him when his back is to the actual people that their fronts are to us, but he was there. Not saying he was necessarily doing anything wrong. I think he was a lawyer for Epstein, so he certainly had some ties to him, right? And I don't know why he's telling people to let Ghislaine Maxwell go. Again, it's much like why I don't have a problem personally with Epstein being dead. Whether or not he was killed, whether or not he's suicide, whether or not, I don't know. It seemed like something was being planned at that time. They obviously turned cut the cameras, had the security guards weren't doing anything that they should be doing. And, again, from there, it doesn't surprise me. He doesn't need to be alive. And nor does Ghislaine. Or Gillen, or however you want to say it correctly or not. She doesn't need to be alive or out of jail or anything. She doesn't really know that much, especially, so even her. And why Trump would pardon her would just be very strange, and it would look very guilty, right? So here we've got, and this keeps happening, and it's funny when people say this kind of stuff, like they're like, Trump's going to pardon, who's the other one? Chauvin. Remember that? Remember they were talking about how Trump was going to pardon Chauvin, and literally Minnesota was preparing for riots? That was just someone else said it. Trump never said it, never hinted at it. Well, here's another situation exactly like that. Dershowitz says Trump should do something. He should pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. You know how many people are going to run with this? They're going to start hypothesizing all this. Trump's not going to do that. That would be, why? Why? There's zero need to do it, and it would look bad, especially with the light that we've heard recently that maybe Trump has been on his plane or whatever Elon Musk was being specific about. What has happened because of this, though, which is powerful part, is this. Democrats posted this. The Democrats, the blue check mark of the Democrats, kill the bill and release the Epstein files. Now they want to see the Epstein files. Hook, line, sinker, I don't know, right? Like, this was PSYOP 101. The asleep people are so easy to deal with. And what I am finding, too, is, again, I've got this new appreciation for the differences of opinions, and it's just strange how that came upon and how that came about. But there are a lot of people that are freaking out about this. Freaking out about it. And I think it's funny because, to me, it shows who's rooted in truly, who's in that heart chakra versus who's not. That's what it's showing me. We got a lot of people that have not made that jump, that do not believe what's actually occurring, that do not have any sort of faith into the bigger picture, that do not, quote unquote, trust the plan. None of that, right? Whatever. I mean, again, do you just blindly trust? No. But you can't claim to be part of something but not really part of it. Just skating on the outside, if you will, which, I don't know. It's interesting. Like, I'm not really part of this whole like MAGA thing per se. I'm very much Make America Great Again. I'm very much about making the world great again. I'm very much a part of that. Like, but I'm not like, I think of it almost like a mosh pit at a concert, right? Like, that's where all the crazy stuff is. All these guys, like your Bonginos you're more of a, your bigger people, your bigger podcasters that are out there. I don't even know half of them are, but I mean, and we know X22, Nino Rodriguez, right? Like all that kind of crap. These guys are huge, and they are, they're kind of moving the ball forward. But some of them, I don't know all of them. I haven't listened to all of them. I just like Nino is one I keep thinking of. Like, Juan keeps making fun of him, saying he needs the hand lotion because he usually does. He kind of has this weird, like almost like they're gonna kill us and the AI is gonna kill us all. Oh my God! And it's like, well, yeah, because all the people you talk to tell you the end of the world's nigh. But if you actually understand the plan and understand what's kind of happening, that's not what's happening. And that's not what's going to happen. Yeah, the deep state's trying to do stuff. Yeah, they don't have power. They don't have power. If they had power, we wouldn't be even close to where we are right now. So it's weird in that regard. All said, things are moving forward, albeit maybe not fast enough for many. They are definitely moving forward. Violent crimes committed by illegals is down. A lot of the numbers are coming down. I think some of it's all reporting too. But Bongino's talking about threats to the United States and keeping us safe and doing what their job is and kind of prioritizing stuff. And here it is. I think it's a good breakdown.
We can't have New York, D.C., or L.A. go boom. Obviously, we wake up every day, Cash and I in that briefing. That's always going to be priority number one. But kind of co-equal priorities right now underneath that, the massive cyber threat, the counterintelligence threat. You just accurately indicated the number of people that were that flooded in through the southern border and some through the northern border as well. There are people here, let's be very clear, who want to do bad things. I think that's fairly obvious. We have our FBI teams out there at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. They can tell you, and they're happy to do it, out there working with HSI, ERO, and removing these people from the country while still preventing a terror attack, investigating terror attacks that do happen. And I'm going to add another thing, Sean. We're not the Federal Bureau of freaking word games anymore, okay? It's the Federal Bureau of Investigation. When some guy shows up at a scene, and I'm getting an intel stream from our information center that indicates he threw an incendiary device, okay, while screaming very specific words with multiple witnesses and video, we're damn well going to investigate it, listen to me, investigate it as targeted violence and a terror attack. You don't like it, you don't have to follow my official Twitter. But I saw a whole bunch of people losing their minds. What the hell you want us to investigate it as? A freaking grand larceny auto? We're investigating it as a terror attack because that's the information we have. And we're not going to start playing euphemisms games and word games anymore. We're not doing it. We're the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and we're going to investigate properly.
All right. All right. I like the way he talks. I really, really do. Okay. Let me go ahead and click on this Rumble link. Now, folks, I'm 27 minutes into this hour and 8-minute video. I'm not going to play the whole thing for you, but the link to this video is in the description box. I clicked on the description box to get it to where we are here. Let me click on this Rumble link and show you that this video does come from On the Fringe. I am following his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. All right, let's get back here to the description box, and we have one more video that I want to share with you from Awaken with JP, his "We Lie to You" news segment. Yes, so this is going to be, you know, kind of entertaining, but his sarcasm here and satire of how the mainstream media actually gives you the news is actually pretty entertaining. Russia and Ukraine attacks disrespect Pride Month. Oh, I can't believe it. Russia and Ukraine attacking each other is disrespectful to Pride Month. Okay, well, let's take a listen here and see what Awaken with JP has to say. Let me get it back to the beginning for you.
You could obviously tell I am a woman, and I got misgendered 5 different times.
Pride Month is off to a good start. Good evening and happy Pride Month, queers. Our top stories: Ukraine and Russia are bombing the hell out of each other, threatening complete destruction of the world. But before we get to that, an issue that's even more pressing to our national security. How's Pride Month going? Well, the Pride Month weather report in Philadelphia is looking super gay with a chance of trans. And this Pride Parade, involving plenty of children, had sunny skies with a high likelihood of a warm front of minor-attracted people rolling in. And the NFL got on board, telling its viewers it's great to stick things in their anus. Here's a snippet of their Pride commercial. And there you have it, straight from the NFL. football is gay. But Pride Month has unfortunately lost some steam this year. Perhaps because we have a far less gay president than we did in years past, but we don't really know. Now, in previous years, Target has been the most prideful of them all, selling tuck-it bathing suits and just being, quite frankly, fabulous in many ways. But this year, Target opted out of doing its typical Pride collection display at stores, choosing instead to offer a patriotic collection. We reached out for comment from a Target executive to learn why they abandoned their typical Pride support. Here's what he had to say.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered.
And that explains that. And in other news, peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine have progressed rather well, with Ukraine using 117 drones to bomb Russia over the weekend. In what's being called Operation Spiderweb, Ukraine smuggled 117 drones deep into Russian territory, hiding them underneath the roofs of portable storage sheds that were transported to Russia by truck. The sheds were placed right by key military sites. Then the bomb-filled drones launched in a coordinated attack, destroying 41 Russian military aircraft, some of which were nuclear-capable bombers. This was a very covert operation, and it's being reported that no one in the Russian military thought to ask, what the f*** are those storage sheds doing here? While President Trump had no advanced intel of the attack, U.S. bloodthirsty Lindsey Graham met with Zelensky in Ukraine the day before the strike, and is very excited for the U.S. to get involved in a war that's not ours, for some reason. Take a look.
The game that Putin's been playing is about to change. He's going to be hit and hit hard by the United States.
Now, Zelensky, who isn't very tall and probably wears children's clothes, said Operation Spiderweb was planned over the course of a year and a half. And he stated, Ukraine is defending itself, and rightly so. We are doing everything to make Russia feel the need to end this war. And I'm sure Zelensky is right. This just in! Russia launched a massive retaliatory strike with 472 drones and ballistic missiles. And this just in! Ukraine just blew up the Crimean Bridge in Russia. And this just in too! Russia is preparing its nuclear missiles for launch, which makes it appear as though Zelensky is right on the money. The secret drone strike operation has made Russia feel like they need to end this war, one way or another. With Russia and Ukraine escalating the attacks on each other, we condemn the violence, because neither of them showed any support for Pride Month with rainbow-colored bombs. Simply unacceptable. And in other news, here's tourists running down the side of an erupting volcano. That's it for today's news. With peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine going so well, by the 4th of July, we may have some nuclear-powered fireworks to watch. And with Pride Month having less support than ever, we implore you to support the cause by getting out and doing something gay this month. And a shout out to Royal Dutch Airlines for showing their pride with their lesbian, gay, and hetero seatbelt combinations. That's very clever. By the way, the seatbelt combination on the bottom is the only one that works. Just FYI. Good night.
Okay, sorry, folks. I think he's humorous. I don't know, and it's pretty much the way that the mainstream media talks. If you listen to them, it's just totally out there. Okay, let me click on this Rumble link and show you that this video does come from Awaken with JP. We Lie to You News. I'm following his channel. I thought I'd click that button, but now for sure, see how easy it is to click that follow button? I'm following him. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. All right, let's get back here. And these videos that I shared with you here, folks, come directly from the producer's channel. All right. So I don't get any commissions or royalties for sharing this information out, but I do get the satisfaction of giving the information to you so that you can possibly pass this on to others, share this information out. It's your one-stop shop, Mertech.com is, for no nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth. Okay? And for some reason, I'm not sharing my screen here, so let me do that now. Here we go. Okay. again, these videos come directly from the producers. Over here at Mertech.com, I do have over 55 no-nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth videos. Your one-stop shop for no-nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth. Okay, I did share 4 of these videos here from Mertech.com. Here's the one from Benny Johnson. Here's the one from Awaken with JP. Here's the one from Doug in Exile. So, as you can see, this information does come from the producer. I just post this information on Mertech.com so you can have like one convenient place to come to get this information or listen to my podcast. Or, if you like, you can wait to come back about 9:30 this evening. And this is my playlist here for Mertech Daily News Wrap Up. I have 67 videos in it. Right now, this video was dropped about 23 minutes ago from Devory Darkins, and then I got some more information from Benny Johnson and Fox News. But I'll be doing this daily news wrap-up about 9:30 this evening, so you can go ahead and take a break, grab a cup of coffee, grab a donut, grab a sandwich, and join me back here a little later on, and I'll begin my daily news wrap-up of all the information that I've gathered for today. So, in the meantime, I do want to thank you for the time that you spent with me. Hopefully, I'll get to see you again later. And may God bless.